What's going on? It's your boy, the voice of reason, and allow me to get in my zone. All right, so what I'm going to talk about today is Andy Reid basically confirming that Kingsley Suamataia and Mike Caliendo are in a competition for the starting left guard spot. The feedback from the Kingdom was insane. Just a lot of, fans were upset. Is that, first of all, in drafting Kingsley, you already had a player that was developmental. There were some experts that felt like he would definitely be, a better guard. One of the things I don't like about sports is that, when it came to Eric Fisher, since he was a #1 overall pick, he got a million opportunities. And there were games he looked way worse than Kingsley, if you remember his tenure, but he was given the opportunity to develop. Kingsley was pulled after 2 games when the first game was against the Ravens, whose defense had the second most sacks in the league and, has a bunch of Pro Bowls and all pros on that D-line. And then the second game, you're going against Trey Hendrickson. Here's a guy that had 17.5 sacks last year and led the league with 17.5 sacks this year. Trey Hendrickson went against the Pro Bowler and Andrew Thomas with the Giants and had 2 sacks against him and another QB hit. So the thing about it was I felt like it was very unfair, especially for the type of offense that was called, all those different factors, to not give Kingsley the opportunity to grow. But one benefit that came from that is Kingsley was one of the most athletic tackles in the draft. Now Kingsley instantly, literally becomes the most athletic guard in the NFL by numbers. And so it's an exciting prospect because of what he did week 18 against the Broncos. You gotta understand, this is the team in the Broncos that was still in the playoff hunt. This was win or go home. So this was like a playoff game for them. And in Kingsley's first start at guard with a tackle he wasn't used to, and going against a defense that led the league in sacks, going against a defensive tackle in Zach Allen that's probably one of the best in the league, Kingsley gave up 1 pressure in those 24-25 snaps. Like, absolutely awesome what he was able to do. And that was very promising for the Chiefs. And that was enough for them to say, you know what, we're going to give him an opportunity. You don't have to think about Kingsley replacing the future Hall of Famer, in my opinion, Joe Thuney, who I greatly miss, and it's a sad thing that he left. The thing about it is, he has to replace a 7th round draft pick. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, when the Chiefs won Super Bowl 58, that postseason by numbers was the hardest postseason any other team had to endure. But yet, the majority of the games in that postseason weren't played by All-Pro, All-World, future Hall of Famer Joe Thuney. The majority of those games were played by 7th round draft pick Nick Allegretti. And Nick Allegretti was not All-World, but he was a solid player. See, it's better to have 2 solid pieces at left guard and left tackle than it is to have an all-world left guard, but then a terrible situation at tackle. So the question isn't, can Kingsley play to the level of a Joe Thuney? The question is, can he play to a Nick Allegretti's level?